Welcome back to the Credit Gal Show on your hometown station, 1220 KHTS AM. I'm your host, Darbe Nokes, and we are speaking with Arif Halaby with Total Financial Solutions.
Hey there, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and you know what? You've done so many amazing things, helping people with their financial matters and so many different levels. But today, I really want to talk about I want you to talk about the credit card company abuse.
Well,
the laws of that.
Yeah, Darbe, there were some incredible changes because what used to take place is credit card companies used to do things called two-cycle billing.
Okay.
And when we started our rant against them back in 1996, was really kind of the beginning, we started seeing debt increasing. And people were thinking it was an additional to their income. So, for example, if you had a $5,000 limit on a credit card and you earned $5,000 that month, you didn't get to spend 10. It was just another way to spend the money you already earned. Well, people didn't know that. And we started seeing credit card balances go higher and higher, and the keeping up with the Joneses began to really impact people's lives. And then people were looking at their credit card debt and saying, I'm making payments, why isn't it going down? Two-cycle billing was created, and so think of it like this. In January, if you charged $1,000 and you paid it off, zero interest, right? Paid it off. February comes, and let's say you charge $1,500, and you still pay off $1,000 because you're going to pay the rest of the next month. When you receive your March statement, you're being charged interest on not the $500 that's left, but on everything you charged in the last two cycles. Charged! So that would be a $500 balance, but the interest was charged against $2,500.
That doesn't seem very fair.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? So what started taking place is people would go, oh, I had a 20% credit card. It's better than your 35. Well, not 20% times 5. That was 100% interest. Look, the worst I've seen was 600%.
600%?
Yeah, and this was on a Discover card way back when. And I'm telling you, two-cycle billing was very prominent. It's what Starbucks used. It is what Wells Fargo, Radio Shack, Sears, Home Depot, they all use this. Discover card was, I don't know if it was the creator of it, but it was certainly the one that pushed it out. And you started seeing this change where people couldn't imagine, why can't I pay off my debt? They'd pay it off and it'd start up again. And, a couple months later, they would charge a little bit and just life would change. So, Credit Card Protection Act of 2009 came about and really started making, I really don't like the word fair, I mean, I do, but it's one of those things where, gosh, fair to who, right? Making the rules. So they made these changes, and they streamlined some of it, and they took away that way of calculating interest, and it made it a little bit easier to get out of debt. But debt stacking is still the way to go.
Debt stacking is still a way to go.
Yeah.
Well, I was many years ago, going to college. You know what I mean? And they had tables at college where the credit card companies would just stand there and give you credit cards.
Incredible, wouldn't it be? For a T-shirt or a Frisbee or whatever the stuff.
I mean, they give you credit cards, and I got 10 of those, Arif. 10. And I charged $10,000 worth of debt, and then I went, I have to pay that debt?
Right.
That's a bill? This isn't free money? And so then I went through a credit card canceling service to get me out of that debt. But I was a part of that because I'm 51. So many years ago, I'm part of that cycling.
Yes,
I had a Radio Shack, I had a Sears card and credit cards as well. And it's people are just not aware, and the high interest and all of this stuff out there. You've just really got to be educated on your credit, and you got to look at your credit card statements every month.
And so many times people don't realize that just because there are two cards and they both might say Visa or MasterCard, look, there aren't any angels in the credit card world. Really, there are less devils, if you will, but they're all in the same game. But it works this way. Just because you have a Visa or MasterCard and they're both even from the same company, it doesn't mean that you should necessarily think that they're the same. You have a completely set of rules. It depends who backs it. Meaning, if you have one, like my first Visa was an NFL Visa, the Los Angeles Rams. Remember that?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so I had the Rams card on it, and we'd look at that, and it was just a lot of fun, and I would charge. Well, the Rams got a piece of everything that I did. Because for letting their logo stay on the card, or UCLA, or whatever, it's now not as much, it's not as common as it used to be. But colleges used to say, get a UCLA, or get a USC, or Visa, and people would, and it would say the logo, and you'd be supporting your
University
team.
of Texas,
That's it.
Visa.
UT.
UT, Hook'em Horns.
And we'd end up with thousands of dollars in debt, and credit card companies were paying the universities a piece of every time you charge that card. Because credit cards work differently. People don't realize. When you swipe it, that's usually 25 to 35 cent fee, sometimes more.
Yeah.
So you can even pay it off. And then the merchant doesn't receive $100 if you charged $100. They might receive $95.
And we, as a credit company, we give some credit advice. And, sometimes with the credit card, we say, look, we want to keep that activity on your credit, that positive activity.
That's right, yeah.
But go buy a tank of gas to keep it active and then pay it the next day. Call the back of the card and pay it. Don't pay the interest.
That's right. The moment you leave a balance on a credit card, in today's most active ways of calculating interest, there were 5 different ways, now there are 4. The moment you left a balance, then the grace period, which is, I paid it before I got the bill, goes away. You don't get it. So in other words, for example, if I have a 0 balance on a card, I swipe it today and I charge $100. If I pay it when I receive the bills, no interest. But if I had left a balance on it from the month before, the moment I swipe that card, I'm still going to pay interest, even if I pay it the next month.
That's why you always have to look at the statement balance versus the other. Well, right after the commercial break, we're going to talk, because this is exciting for me. I'm learning a lot from you as well, about other scams that we need to be concerned about. And so you are listening to The Credit Gal on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.